So this video is all about loop engineering and how to really make it work. So obviously you guys probably saw this month, there's a lot of talk about, well, with the top guys about loop engineering. So Boris Cherny, who created Claude Code, he's talking about it. Peter Steinberg, he's talking about it. You know, putting things in loops makes, I guess, illogical sense, I would almost say.
Yeah, I mean, it's the closest thing to what we want. We basically, if you want your agents to work 24/7, you want to do loops.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. See, that's a problem I have with it. The agent should be looping. I should just keep going and building things whilst we're not, around.
Yeah.
But the problem is, like, as humans, I have a problem designing loops because I used to think in a, linear fashion.
Yep.
Like, I'm not sure if like this is the same with you, but I have a plan, I execute. I make another plan, I execute.
Yes.
I don't make loops, right?
Yeah.
So what I want to do with this video is give you a few examples of loops that are working, not working, and some ideas for you to try and what worked really well for us in terms of loops and how that got us to where we're at. So giving you guys some concrete examples. So I think the top easiest one, I think this is easy for engineers to say. I'll just bring this up over here. One of the easiest loops you can probably try, that's very easy, you can just tell Claude Code to loop this, is to improve code efficiency.
And how does that work though?
So what I found is I've been making this dashboard called Super Dash. It's dashboard for our YouTube channel to control videos, comments, etc. And it's vibe coded and it's really slow. So what I did is I did a performance loop. I said, pick something from the site. I was very, nondescript about it. I just just pick something, improve performance. So this is actually very easy for computers to measure. So I think this is like the starter. So this starter kit. So this is something you can run at night. You can just say, hey, let's loop this, run overnight, loop it every 10, 20 minutes. Pick something that you think you can fix. Go fix it, tell me the results. So you can actually see here that okay, look, I folded YouTube comments into a promise all. These are very techie things, but by doing so, it gave me concrete results. So it performed, what 10 milliseconds faster.
Yeah.
Even if it's 10 milliseconds faster, hey, we're gonna notice it once we're on the dashboard. So let me quickly show you the dashboard here. Let me hide that for a second. So I thought that was one of the easiest ways I got. It was just to improve code efficiency and just let it run it overnight. And then when you wake up in the morning, you'll hopefully have a faster website. You can go verify, and then best if you do this on a separate branch. If you do it on a separate branch, then so this is what it does. So I click on videos and there's comments, and then it has inside of every video. So yeah, it's still even a little bit slow today. It's still a little bit laggy, but it should have actionable intel summaries, transcripts. So the performance of this, it gets optimized by this loop. And then in the morning, you just double check it, see if it works, and see if functionality is working. But that's one of the easiest ways to set up a loop with concrete results, because computers can measure response times very quickly, and it give you concrete results as a result of this loop.
I can think of also research loops. I was thinking of putting it on a loop to go through academic papers.
Yeah. Or non-academic. So I'll give you this an example here. This is a research loop is a really good example here as well. So we used to run a website called AirDroplet. We still run this website, okay, but it's been a little bit out of date. So there's two loops that we set up on here. So one is that airdrops are cryptocurrency projects that are potentially giving away money.
Yeah.
Right. And these things come and go very quickly. They have seasons. They have new idea. There's new projects that comes in very quickly. They give something maybe next week. So this needs very up-to-date information, and it needs new projects to be imported into the website. And this is perfect for a loop.
Yeah.
Right. So I did a 10-minute loop on this. I was a little bit testing this out. So what I did is these are all the new imports. I said for anything newly imported, put it at 20 rating so far.
Mm.
So I ran this loop. I think this is for almost like 30 something hours now.
Okay.
And actually, this is quite funny. Ron's smiling here because you used to do this.
No, I'm smiling because some of these are outdated.
Oh, really? Still, right?
Yeah.
But you used to do this, right? This is
Yeah.
actually it's a human's work that you used to actually just like browse projects
Yeah.
and then fill in the form, update this.
Yeah.
But I got it to start browsing different websites
Mhm.
and collecting different. So every 10 minutes that it wakes up in this loop,
Yeah.
it would actually scrape some websites. So I actually said some other websites, my competitors here,
Uh-huh.
and I said just take the content from there first,
Yeah.
do your own research, and put it into this project. So it kind of imported what I thought it was important.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I would set up two loops for this. One is a import loop,
Yeah.
and then another is a research loop.
Well, I think there should also be a verification
Yes,
loop.
yeah, verification loop. There you go. Yes, 3 loops for that, and then make it run over time. And then as it runs over time, then it can collect the information. It'll do that. So I feel like this is yet again something very simple. It's like it's a very concrete task, like very clear task of what it's trying to do. Okay, so I think that's another loop that I set up. The last loop that I thought was kind of interesting, that kind of is worth talking about, and this required a little bit of tweaking, is the loop with websites. So I have a slight passion project website about tea. So this is like a tea website, and it was vibe coded very quickly and it looks like garbage and a lot of links were broken. And what I did was I actually set up 2 loops for agents. Okay, so one agent would come and browse the site and he'll do it every 3 hours, and he'll just make a lot of complaints. Okay, this is the complainer loop. Okay, so he's gonna complain every 3 hours and make a to-do list of like everything that's broken, like maybe links are broken, some articles are broken, like there's just everything broken about this website, right? I still not ready to show this yet, but whatever, right? I just go here, maybe like links are broken, maybe some content's really garbage. So I wrote a loop, a very critical. I'll call it the adversarial opponent. He's like basically attacking this website, and then I have a defender. So the attacker would create a to-do document, and the defender would then every 20 minutes try to fix something. So what I did is this: the setup, it was the attacker will attack every 3 hours, and the defender will fix every 20 minutes. This gives the defender more time to defend. So like kind of like fix more things up and then deploy that shit and then kind of fix the website.
But these loops are a little bit tricky, I find, because the attacker might be biased or maybe it might be overthinking and talking about features that never existed, and then the defender would fix it and then create more new problems. That's one of the big problems I find using loops, especially starting out.
Exactly. When you're starting out, when the loops that you design may not be perfect. I think that's key. The key, one of the keys that you probably want to do is you want to probably just type the /loop command on. So Claude Code does it. You can just do a loop command, and it helps you design the loop for you. So you don't have to set up anything, just a loop. And then just type in what the kind of interval is, the prompt is, and the setup is. And this really depends on your setup. When you're setting it up, you can actually give it maybe like the attacker a criteria, a checklist. So if you give it a criteria or a checklist to do, and then you tell it to not make stuff up, hopefully it will make stuff up. I actually haven't found too many makeups. So you actually found on your experience, you found it made stuff up?
Yeah. It went through different sources that are basically opinions. What I wanted was official sources from the product maker itself. So it also included the opinions, and then it took on that opinion. So it's not able to differentiate, what's from the official, let's say Anthropic, right? And then Reddit comments. So stuff like that.
Okay. So it's like it got confused between official press release versus user opinions, and then. So I think it's really about defining the scope. And something that I found on my personal side when I was doing the attacking and defending portion was that sometimes when I fix something, it just fixed one single link. Right? It's just like,
not the rest.
Why not the rest? Like, why not be a little bit aggressive? So I actually specify more scope. I said, hey, let's do more structural changes. Like let's like let's be a little bit more aggressive here. And that sometimes helps it. So I think those are a few key ideas. If you guys are interested in loops, type a comment down below of what you kind of think you can use it for. Let's try to refine this together. I feel like overall, loops are like, it's easy to say, hey, use loops, but it's really hard to think in loops.
Yeah, the thinking part, because when you type in prompt, it's like, it's easy. You give your requirement, and then the agent does it. But once you're going back home, nothing gets done. And to think in loops, it's like, I don't know how to explain, but it's like, it's really difficult to
you have to rewire your brain. Your brain is like a linear engine, so you have to rewire your brain to just like thinking these weird loops. And it takes a little bit of time and practice. So guys, have some ideas. And if you have some challenges too, if you guys present us with challenges in the comment section below as well, we can try to help you solve that with a loop as well. And we can just learn about this together. Because I do think it's one of the things that they don't teach you in school. In any school, no one teaches you how to think in loops. But it's required now because they're really good for kicking AI and forcing AI to just constantly work whilst you sleep.
You've definitely seen a big improvement. Like Michael has been a lot more, I say, less angry.
Less angry and more energetic. Because like things are working, right? And I'll show you some like cool things. The stuff that I'm actually quite happy with is BoxminingAI. BoxminingAI is not that good, but Boxmining.com. We recently updated it to did a whole overhaul on this. And there's still a few things broken. I'm still doing adversarial attacks on it, but it's just like it doesn't look half bad anymore. Anyways, with that, guys, thank you guys so much for watching this video. See you guys in the next one. Peace.
Shana now.